Hi everybody, welcome to This Day in History. This is Scott here. We are talking about what happened on this day in history, February 15th. It's 46th day of the year. We got some really fun stuff going on. We'll start right in 1493. We're on the board of the Nina. Christopher Columbus writes an open letter widely distributed upon his return to Portugal, describing his discoveries and unexpected items as he came across in the New World. In 1637, Ferdinand III becomes the Holy Roman Emperor. In 1764, the city of St. Louis is established in Spanish Louisiana. Now, of course, it's in Missouri. In 1835, the first constitutional law in modern Serbia is adopted. In 1862, the American Civil War, Grant attacks Fort Danielson in Tennessee. In 1870, Stevens Institute of Technology is founded in New Jersey and offers the first bachelor's degree in engineering. In 1879, women's rights, Rutherford B. Hayes signs a bill allowing female attorneys to argue cases before the Supreme Court. In 1898, the USS Maine explodes and sinks in Havana Harbor in Cuba, killing 274. This event leads to the Americans declaring war on Spain. In 1921, the Kingdom of Romania establishes its legalization in Helsinki. Ligation, yeah. Okay, in 1923, Greece becomes the last European country to adopt the Gregorian calendar. In 1925, the Serum, this was the second delivery of the Serum run to Nome, Alaska. In 1942, the fall of Singapore, following an assault by Japanese forces, British General Percival surrenders, and 80,000 Indians, British and Australian soldiers, become prisoners of war. In 1945, the third day of bombing on Dresden, we've been covering that in the last few days. We've been talking about this. In 1952, King George VI of United Kingdom is buried in St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. 1954, Canada and the United States agree to construct the Distant Early Warning Line, a system of radar stations near the far Arctic regions of Alaska and Canada. In 1965, a new red and white maple leaf design is adopted as the flag of Canada, replacing the old Canadian ensign banner. 1972, sound recordings are granted copyright protection for the first time. 1982, the oiling rig Ocean Ranger sinks during a storm off the coast of Newfoundland, killing 84 workers. The Soviet Union officially announces that all its troops have left Afghanistan in 1989. 1992, Jeffrey Dahmer sentenced in Milwaukee to life in prison. In 2001, the first draft of the complete human genome is published in Nature. 2003, protests against the Iraq War take place in 600 cities worldwide. It's estimated that 8 to 30 million people participate, making it the largest peace demonstration in history. And in 2013, a meteor explodes, killing 1,500, or injuring 1,500, as the shockwave blows out window and rocks buildings. So there you go. That's a little bit of what happened on this day in history. Born this day in history, Galileo Galilei was born this day in history. Ivan the Young was born this day in history as well. Susan B. Anthony was also born on this day in history. We have some wonderful people that we're going to be finding out. The oldest person still with us right now is Angelia Ferguson, American pediatrician, born 1925, so happy birthday to you. Harvey Korman, born this day in history. I did love Harvey Korman. I think he's so hilarious. Graham Hill was born this day in history as well. Norman Broadwell, creator of Clifford the Big Red Dog. Claire Bloom was born today as well. As we go further down the list, we find that John Adams, the composer, born 1947. Tony Adams, who did a lot of producing and screenwriting of some of the films, amazing films out there, born 1953. Matt Groening, or Greening, however you say his last name, from The Simpsons. He created The Simpsons. Happy birthday to you as well, Janice Dickinson. Jimmy Spencer. Chris Farley would have celebrated his birthday today. He's much missed by a lot of people. Alex Bornstein from the show Family Guy. Jaromir Jagr was born this day in history as well. Very famous hockey player from the Czech Republic. As we go further down the list, we'll find Charles Pick also was born this day in history as well. And then we go to some deaths just to cover some of those. Ferdinand II died this day in history in 1637. Nat King Cole in 1965. Ethel Merman in 1984. Actor Kevin Smith, not to be confused with the director, but he died this day, 2002. Johnny Weaver died in 2008. Vanity, who sang a lot with Prince, also died this day in history as well. So, folks, it is Statehood Day in Serbia. It's Susan B. Anthony Day in Florida. Total Defense Day in Singapore. Liberation Day in Afghanistan. National Duties Memorial Day in Russia. And Candlemas in the Eastern Orthodox Church. So I want to thank you guys for paying attention to this day in history. Thank you, and we'll catch you here real soon on thescottshow.com.